all of you today. I know we're still getting folks on the live, so I am so excited. I'm here with my friend Scott Needham, and you know, this tool that he's going to show us today is so unique. Usually when when people show me software tools, I'm kind of like, I already have access to like all the tools, you know, whatever, another tool, right? But Scott just sent me like a little preview video of his tool, and I couldn't believe the data that he has that is different from any other tool that I've seen. So I'm super stoked to have Scott here for a tool review for one of our Tip Tuesday tool reviews, and just, yeah, for him to show us what Smart Scout can do. So welcome, Scott. It's great to have you.
Hey, Amy, thanks for having me. Excited to share and talk. So I'm an Amazon seller. I've been selling on 8 years full time,
Wow.
which is, you know, in the environment right now, that's a dinosaur age. I've been around for a while. Back when you just had to have an FBA offer and it would sell. You know, there was not nearly as much competition, and the images on Amazon didn't look as sharp as they do right now.
I called it the good old days when you could just like put any product on Amazon. Like I started selling in 2007 as a hobby, and I would just put like any like used product for like laying around my house, and it would sell like immediately with like no images, like just crap. And nowadays it's a lot different. So, you know, you do have to adapt and overcome. It's amazing that you've been doing this 8 years full time.
Yeah. Well, I've I went to school as a software developer, and then my brother, he was selling, and he told me about his problems, and I was like, well, you know, we just got to build some tools. And so I've really just been an Amazon software developer this whole time, primarily like developing just for what we needed. But then that like evolved into like other tools. And, you know, I built a few different things. But then, you know, I'm not sure if you're ever familiar with like the Small Light program. In 2017, was like really good. We loved selling on it, and I built something to like analyze all of Amazon looking just for small and light opportunities. And then, you know, fast forward a few years, I had been doing more engaging with the community just to talk. It was like, well, hey, how about I revisit this idea where I downloaded the entire catalog of Amazon, organized it in a unique way, and then see if people like it. And, you know, I think the answer is kind of shown in that, like, I've loved putting this together and built even more on top of it, what is now Smart Scout.
That's so cool. And did you have a background in software development before you did all this, or did you kind of like bootstrap your way into it?
I mean, that's what I studied computer engineering in school, which, I mean, gave me a lot of, experience. But I actually don't think I'm that great of a software developer. For me, the magic was when I just used my Amazon knowledge to, like, you know, put together a vision and actually hire someone to do the front end. I did not do the front end. It takes a lot. It's a different kind of skill. And so I kind of focus on like the Amazon data points and like what makes a difference, you know, like what like really helps people do better with their business. You can search for data for years on end of like, oh, I need to get all this data. But like at the end of the day, like this is e-commerce. A lot of the business is actually jumping into customer psychology. So I'll be the first to tell you, you don't need a tool for everything. If you are trying to sell on Amazon, but you know, at a certain point, a certain scale, tools just help.
Yeah. So, you know, with so many tools on the Amazon, in the Amazon space, what would you say is, you know, your subscribers, your customers' favorite tool or tools inside of Smart Scout, and why?
So that's a good question. It really depends the type of seller that they are. If you're a reseller, they're jumping in and looking at brands and kind of like putting a lot of filters to find the best brands to work with. If you are a private label, you're probably jumping into our subcategories view, where we have the 42,000 subcategories on Amazon split out, and you can see market share and more characteristics about the brands that are succeeding, and actually to find out which categories to launch products in to kind of justify an investment. So
I also thought it was cool that for agency providers like me, people who have their own agencies, your tool actually shows sellers and how to contact them. And I was like, whoa, nobody has that, because we have been, all of us agency providers, of course we want to be able to get in contact with sellers and all of that. So and I think even as a private label, of course, looking at some of those subcategories, which I can't wait for you to show us that, but also from a private label standpoint, being able to look at my competition in another way is so good, because I think all of us in private label, we track our competition very heavily, but we're just kind of guessing at who they are. And with your program and your data and the way it's presented, it's like giving us this whole new level of our competition that we didn't have before. So it's really cool. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I started this and built it just for like Amazon sellers, like the brands. I'll start with the brand level data. But then I was like, while I'm here, I can also show off some of the seller data. And then just kind of created more and more ways on how to show it off. And you'll see in our seller map, you're like, okay, I get it. This is cool. I guess with that, like we can just jump on in.
Cool. Well, let me share the stream or let me share the screen here, and hopefully everyone can see that okay. And let's check out Smart Scout.
Okay, so let's jump into New York City. So so this is, I just pulled the top 50,000 Amazon sellers, and you jump into a city like New York, and you can see here that the size of the dot is the size of the seller. So,
Oh, wow. So the bigger the dot, the more in terms of revenue?
Yeah. And I'm just going to click on someone. I don't know who they are. It looks like they're Designs for Health. And as I jump in, it looks like they're, private label, and very much in the supplements space. And we can see that they have a lot of different products, and this is their estimate revenue that they're doing on each one of those. And we could even show buy box share. Sometimes like brands, they struggle to win the buy box. Maybe they have resellers that are selling. Or if you are a reseller, you're jumping in and you're looking at brands from a very different lens. You're looking at, potential opportunities. So, you could go around here, and I'll tell you something really funny. So I live in Salt Lake City, Utah, and this is gonna take a second. Looks like, some of my internet isn't the sharpest now that we're streaming and doing this. Well, we targeted the top 100 Amazon sellers in Utah. Here we are. Okay. So we filtered this out to the top 100 Amazon sellers. And last Thursday, we went door to door and just started talking about Smart Scout. We said like, hey, you're one of the top Amazon sellers. We're a new tool, and we would love to just, learn more about you. What type of seller, what kind of challenges do you have? And, see if we can make a connection. So we use Smart Scout to sell Smart Scout, but we have a lot of service providers that use this. Actually, most of the aggregators are using this. It's not hard to imagine. because we have the entire seller catalog. Let's see.
I mean, I would love to ask how you get that data, but I'm sure there's some secret sauce there, but it's just, that's really incredible. I mean, it makes me curious. I just want to look at like San Antonio. I want to look at all these different areas of the country.
Yeah.
I'm sure those folks that are watching, I just want to say hey to Andrew and hey to Dwayne. I'm sure those folks that are watching are like, whoa, you know, like, okay, I want to see my area. So is it just in the US or do you have like some worldwide data?
Well, if we, let me go back to the seller map. This does have sellers across the world, and you know, let's get a bunch of sellers, and then you're going to see in China, you know, there's thousands here. I mean,
wow.
Yeah, this lights up just like New York City. So, and actually, we have multiple marketplaces. Right now, we are live in, you know, about 4 marketplaces. Here's the UK. You know, if you sell in the UK marketplace, same data, and again,
you can plan your seller meetups, right? You can find out what other people that are near you are selling. Like, imagine also just being able to kind of study brands in this way and like look at the different things that different sized sellers are selling, right? Yep. Like that's so interesting to me to be able to look at a whole brand and all the different products that they're selling. So Jason says, what's the name of the tool? So Jason, the tool is Smart Scout, and we're going to have a coupon code for you guys to try it out later on in this tool demo. So stick around for that. And Dwayne says, show Orlando. Andrew says,
you know what? If we actually give people a few minutes of the seller map for free. So if you go to smartscout.com, you click on the seller map, you can, you know, browse. Yeah, you can jump right in. So
Andrew says, this is amazing. I'm already looking at my area. And Nathan says, it's a little scary, to be honest.
Yeah. It is. The thing is like all of this data is more or less like I'm only grabbing this from publicly available information and just kind of smashing it all together and creating a user interface that's enjoyable. And I know this has already led to people like, you know, reaching across, you know, the town to like a seller and meeting up with them and asking them questions. So there's definitely some community building aspects to this.
And can I sort by, so, okay, let's say, so we've got this whole big seller map, right? But let's say I want to connect with other brands that have complementary products to mine to maybe set up a collaboration deal. So how can I find other pet products, specifically cat product brands that maybe I could partner with to create some collaborations?
So I just wait. So now I'm in the seller database, and we have you know, every category, and then we actually have the primary subcategory of these sellers. So here's the top sellers. You know, it looks like we have, you know, standard cat litter boxes. We have cat activity trees, cat odor and stain removers. And so there's a lot of different ways to find it. And you're actually going to see in the other tools, there's maybe even different ways to find them. But I wanted to show off, you know, we have some very interesting filters. I can filter and show which sellers are growing year over year and how much. I can be like, okay, who's growing year over year of at least 30% in the last 6 months? Okay, so it looks like we have Ristco, and I can see, I'm going to click on this little product history, sorry, this feedback history. So this is going to show me a chart of their feedback history over the last, you know, few years. So
when you say feedback, does that mean like reviews, or is it like seller feedback? Like how well they
seller feedback. So if I go back to 1 year or even 1 year, you can see that in the last 6 months, the seller's been kind of climbing. and then they're all the way, up here in the 70s when they used to be in the 30s. Maybe
Which means they probably have more products, more sales, more opportunities for people to give seller feedback. And seller feedback is not something that is given that naturally or that often until you start getting some significant sales under your belt, right? So Lois says, wow, nothing is a secret.
I mean, I have some opinions, some of them may be unpopular. I feel like if someone has like access to your sales data, and if that hurts your brand, maybe you don't have that great of a brand. Because like anyone jumping on Amazon, you can look at reviews and look at any sort of tools and kind of analyze it. Analyzing it isn't a secret, but just the ability to kind of collect all that data very quickly is kind of one of the purposes of this tool.
And so let's say that I wanted, you said there's cat trees, right? And I don't sell cat trees. So maybe I want to connect with the cat tree brand. The other thing you could use this for is selling. So if you are getting ready to sell your brand, you can actually package it up and offer it to your competitors.
Yeah.
So here you have a list of your competitors and their contact information and how much they're selling and what they're doing. It's really cool. So if I wanted to see what else this cat tree brand is selling, can I like look at their
Let's see. Shoot. I think I made another filter that got the cat tree. Let me just remove this filter.
Or you can just pick one, like
So again, I can just click on a seller and then look at their offers, look at the estimate revenue, and just see more of their information. Now, I actually don't have their contact information. I mean, I love that, but it's just their storefront. And so if you're clever, usually you can find them. This is their business name.
You can find their website. You can contact them in different ways. But at least I can see like all of their products on one screen, and then I can look at what they're doing as a brand. I think just being able to look at our competition in this way, and then from the seller map, it's so interesting too to see what different people. So can I then view this particular brand, for example, on the seller map? Can I view like their location or not?
Actually, we don't have a link to go straight into it, but I mean, what's the seller name? Song Mics. If I go back to the seller map, I can punch that in.
Oh, okay, that's a cool way to look for it.
So there they are.
And they're in California.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Or at least their business is located there, right? So Jeff wants to know, he says, is this a collection of all sellers on Amazon?
Yes. There may be, I don't actually collect all of the super long tail. So if a seller is doing less than like $1,000 a month, we don't bring that in.
So it's more just like when they start gaining traction, they become an actual, contender in the space, then you're tracking.
Yeah.
Because so many people just launch one product and then they never, they might never gain sales or whatever. Yeah.
When Amazon says they have 1 million sellers, but really they have like 250,000 that are really like, doing things. Okay. A lot of people are like, okay, I have seller data, but like, so what? Well, we have a lot of different ways to view Amazon and like what's going on. I'm not sure if this is coming through clearly, but I mean, this is our subcategories tool. And this really takes the 42,000 subcategories of Amazon and it kind of creates a browsable experience of that. So home and kitchen, I can jump around and I don't know where I'm going, but so kitchen and dining, small appliance, let's go to blenders. This looks like fun. Countertop blenders. So we see that countertop blenders are a $28 million a month category. And, we can see the sellers are doing 17%. Amazon is doing 83% of the revenue in blenders. I did not know that. We're counting 29 brands and a few 100,000 reviews on 111 products. So there's a few products here that are really must be really killing it. So now here, once I can click onto. I can show the brands or I can show the products. Let's actually do both. So here's the products, and top. Looks like the top one here is this Ninja, right? And looks like I'm hitting looks like Amazon has found me. Well, I click on a ton of pages all the time, and so they think I'm a robot sometimes, but it's just me. All right, so yeah, you can jump in, see Ninja, but I like seeing the brand market share. So we show that Ninja, it has 33% market share, Vitamix 25%, Nutribola, Oster, and on down. So,
and I think it's so interesting because if I'm also wanting to look at how much of my market share that I have or anything like that, or what different brands have, then I can go into that brand, see their product lines.
Yeah.
It's a really cool way to look at this data. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah. So again, you could jump into you can move between looking at a brand view or the products on that brand. And the inside, there's a lot of data. You can filter here. You can be like, okay, these are all variation pages, number of sellers, and then product page score. So it's kind of like all of this data that we've seen before if you've used other tools, but it's just, it's aggregated. I do a lot of the connecting the dots for you. You don't have to jump onto Amazon to see things or to learn things. It's all inside the tool. Let's see. And then we have, every product has this little graph. And so if you're familiar with like Keepa or tools like that, we kind of bring that view inside. So let's look at the last year of a product. You can see right here, this top is like the price. What's its price over time? Has it fluctuated? Here, the middle one, we're showing the sales rank. How's this doing right now? Looks like the sales rank has, maybe if we do the last 30 days, we could kind of see some trends. So we bring that inside the tool as well. So this subcategory is I don't even know how people are using it. I barely scratched the surface. And you can search for your category. So I actually do a little bit of selling in pickleball, and so I can type in and be like, okay, how's pickleball? It's a $7 million a month category, and again, do the brands. We're working on making this view historic, so you can see the revenue and the market share over time. That's one of the next things that we have. I'm going to jump over into the brands view. This is where if you want to just, so I'm going to clear this search. So let's say you want to learn about Lego. Okay, well, I'm going to search on Lego and kind of do more of, you can filter a lot of different things. Actually, I'm going to clear that out. I don't even want to do Lego. I want to pull in every single brand on Amazon and look at the top brands out there and actually sort. One filter that I like, I started as a reseller on Amazon. I've got some private label now, but one thing that we don't like to do is we don't like to compete against Amazon. So I'm going to filter out the brands that have an Amazon stock rate of over 10%. And then, category, I started in toys. So here we have the top brands in toys that Amazon retail isn't selling. So we find a lot of resellers, they jump and use Smart Scout with a very different lens. They're looking at it through this. And funny enough, Lego came here at the top of an opportunity. and very interesting. And like we show more like, what's the brand score on average? Lego is a 6.2. That means they're not always they're not always using all of their images. They're not always, filling out description pages. And then we're, by demand, actually, we now have like a storefront, if a brand has a storefront or not. Kind of interesting to see if it's being managed well at all. Like here's a brand games workshop, brand score of 4.4 and no storefront. Clear indication that this brand isn't doing too much with their Amazon stuff. Okay.
Wow, that means that our brand managers need to pay attention.
Oh shoot! Did I open up a can there?
No, that's awesome. No, I just mean in terms of if you're in the brand management space or the PPC management space, or you can look at that through this lens. So I love how you have something for resellers, something for private label, something for service providers, all these different data points that in general we might not take very seriously as private labelers, but when we have them and we see them right here in front of us, it's like, oh my gosh, I can think of all the different things that I can use this for. It's like crazy to me.
So there's two more tools that I'm going to show off, and they're both geared towards private label. And I'm pretty sure you haven't seen them before. So here's our traffic graph. So right here, I've got a search term, keto chocolate. So what that does is that brings out kind of this, you can see this is a graph of different products on Amazon. So for keto chocolate, if I see this one right here highlighted in circle, that tells me this is a front page product. That means, like if I'm typing keto chocolate, this is in the first page there. So, and then I click on it and it shows me all of the different products that are bringing traffic to this product. This is a reverse engineer of the frequently bought together. So the way that people use it is on top of just like discovery, understanding a segment, it also can be used for product like advertising. So you can export this list of products that are pointing to this one. And say you are trying to compete against this seller. Well, you can go head to head. You could go head to head and advertise on this product, but in my private label, like what I have found a little bit more interesting is to advertise on our competitors' complementary products. So maybe I have a keto chocolate product, but I don't want to compete against this one. That gets kind of dicey. My ACOS isn't very good. But say I advertise on these, like, a ketone test strip, or keto products that aren't necessarily chocolate. So you can see the different pages of products. You can export this into Excel and advertise accordingly. And you kind of can see the traffic strength. Looks like this Slim Fast product itself sells 26,000 units a month, and it features. Let's see. Oh, that's just the. Let's see where that product is. I want to actually bring that Amazon product page. Where is that? Okay, here it is. So, interesting. Looks like they've actually changed the frequently bought together. The widget does change from time to time, but it is how we are building out this traffic graph.
One of my favorite tools used to be Yassiv.
Yeah.
And it showed like all the different things that people would buy together. And it's been down for years. And I've been so bummed because I used it so much. But this is so cool. And I'm thinking, if I'm in the keto space not only am I going to find so many other product ideas from this because of other things that people have bought, but here, this Slim Fast one, it looks like the only kind of keto fat bomb, chocolate peanut butter thing that's kind of being sold. If I'm thinking about things to add to my brand and they're killing it, I can really take another angle on that and expand my brand very easily, and find those kind of one-off products that are selling like mad and are complementary to mine using this map. It's so cool.
Yeah. That's kind of the idea. Why I built this tool is someone that has an agency. He wanted to show off to his clients just something very interesting, just like an insight into their products that they didn't have themselves. So this shows off very well. When you're if you're jumping in and saying hey, I know where you're getting traffic, or I know where your competitors are getting traffic, and kind of build out that story. It happens to be happens to be useful as well. But we see agencies, using this tool, just showing things off. We have advertisers that come in and kind of put this as part of their there's operating procedure when they're building out advertising.
I cannot wait to get my hands in there and play around. Yes. So Dwayne says, any tools or features for Amazon advertising? And you were talking about this tool, which is
cool. Yeah, this is probably our best link into that. We don't have any Amazon PPC, but people do use this with that. Okay, final stop in what we've built, and we've only been around for 6 months, so we are we're moving fast. So this is an FBA calculator, and what it actually does is it's more focused. I just wanted to build a tool that I would personally use. There's a lot of FBA calculators, but this one is designed to help you optimize your products, to see if there is an advantage in reducing your dimensions. So look at this. Here's a product this is actually my brother's product. He bought this company. And it comes in at 1.01 pounds. We're showing the tiers below, and it shows that if he were to get the product to 1 pound, he will save 70 cents a unit. So, this is a great way to figure out if you're close to a size tier down. And, 70 cents a unit is actually pretty significant, especially if you're spending a lot of money in advertising. You immediately justify, spending more. And so, if there is a calculator out there, an FBA calculator that's really focused on improving your perspective of, Amazon packaging, this is it. And I don't think anyone else has built anything that looks like this.
As somebody who in the last year has saved I saved $10 in Amazon fees on one product just by folding it in a different way and packaging it in a different way. And I have friends that will have their suppliers tape down the corners of their packaging just to make sure that it's huge. And then I recently heard as well that people have had incorrect dimensions of their products that Amazon has put in, and they've been overcharged for years without even knowing it. So just being able to look at it from this perspective, I know the folks in my mastermind group we are always, when we're looking at new products to launch, we think about sizing and we think about the cost. And when you're trying to calculate it yourself, it's hard to be able to kind of see all the aspects of what it might cost you.
Yeah.
So having a tool like this is so awesome, especially even during product development phases, when you can look at a similar product, for example, and you can see, what those are and how you could save, the different ways you could save, then you can develop your product to collapse in a certain way or fit under a certain weight, maybe change out the material to make it lightweight. So smart.
Yeah, this is just like, you can see, like, I can like just play around with it, and it always shows me like, okay, you can design it like this. If you want to go down a size tier, you know, it looks like I have to go down in weight, you know, and then I keep saving, and it shows me my FBA fee. So yeah, this is very much, you know, product development, help you through that process.
Yeah, I
and
love
then
it.
by reference, and then here by reference, it has, you know, all the standard dimensions that, you know, you go for.
It's awesome. I like it a lot. All right. Well, we have seen so far the seller map. We have seen, which Andrew actually has a question about the seller map and seller information. Andrew is asking, as an agency, can you do mail advertisements to high revenue sellers?
Well, I've done it, so yes. You can go in the seller search, make any filters that you want, and then export in the export, have the full address. And so you can do a lot there.
Wow, that's so cool.
If you wanted to send out a few thousand, I do have a contact. One of my best friends does this for a living, and he's already worked with a few people that, you know, are doing direct mail. So yeah.
Okay, and then I just wanted to say hello. Tim is here, and he says hello, Amy and Scott, and he's reminding people to smack those thumbs up, show us some love and support. I know that everybody thinks this is really fascinating, and thank you, Tim, for reminding folks to like and share and subscribe. For all of your friends who might also need this information, they might need this really cool tool. So I'm also going to show the coupon code here for Smart Scout that Scott has created. This is not an affiliate link. It is just an awesome coupon code that you guys can use. It's amazing, right? That's also my Clubhouse handle, amazing. So you can use that to save $50 on your subscription. You can check out Smart Scout. And I just think this is so cool, Scott. Like, is there anything else you want to show us? So you showed us the seller map, which is like so much information on how different sellers, different locations, how much they're selling by the size of their dot. Then you can click inside of it and see everything there. And then you showed us all the different ways we can look at brands. You showed us this really cool product map tool where we can see what's been bought with it, where they're getting their traffic from. And then you showed us how we can all reduce the cost of our packaging or look at our competitors or during product development with this really cool tool. Any tools that you want to show us before we end the program?
You know, I actually think I showed off all the tools. That's all we've got for now. We do have let's see, where did that go? A university. Yeah, here we go. We have, you know, where we just have a bunch of videos where my team jumps in and dives in maybe a little bit deeper, depending if you're private label or if you're wholesale, just some different perspectives that maybe we didn't cover. But outside of that, you know, I actually think that you and I we dumped in. We dived in and showed it all off.
Oh, that's so awesome. Well, I thank you so much for your time. This has been so interesting. Let me just make sure that there's no questions before we go. Andrew says such innovative tools. Awesome. I know people are really going to enjoy this tool review. It's so unique and innovative. So Scott, why don't you tell everybody how can they reach you? How should they connect with you?
Well, sure. I'm all over the place. But I actually interact with sellers a lot on Instagram. I mean, it's kind of a nerdy place, like a weird place, but at Smartest Seller, I just talk a lot about, you know, selling on Amazon. I find it really good for getting like quick answers. You know, obviously LinkedIn, my email's scott@smartscout.com. I have a podcast, the humbly named Smartest Amazon Seller Podcast. I actually dive into a lot, like my early episodes, I talk about like, being a software developer on Amazon, how to, the different perspectives that I've put to creating tools. And so yeah, and I'm also showing up at a lot of trade shows lately. So if you're, I met Amy at Prosper, and I'm headed to Chicago in 2 weeks, and New York right after that at Retail X, then ASGTG. If you're a seller in the Chicago area, I've got an event that you should be at. We're putting on a boat cruise. So Amy, you're not in Chicago, are you?
No, I'm in San Antonio, but I'll come to Chicago for a boat cruise. Let's do it.
Right. Well, I saw you in the Central Time Zone, so I was like, oh, maybe she's in Chicago. Yeah. Well, so Retail X is just an e-commerce conference. It's not as Amazon centric, but you do have some Amazon there. And so when it comes to an event, we try and put on an event that we would actually just like to attend ourselves. So doing one through the Chicago.
I attended your event at Prosper, and it was so much fun. And just thank you for that invite. That was really a lot of fun. And hey, now we're here, like nerding out over tools. So I love it. Yeah. And I'll see you at ASGTG. And so
okay. Yeah. That'd be perfect. Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, and hopefully we get to do that again. And I mean, there's a lot of conferences kind of like a stuffy vibe to them. We're not stuffy, but like salesy. So it's kind of nice to do something that's a little bit more relaxing. And
so this boat tour that you're doing is part of Retail. Well, it's like at the same time as Retail X. So people who are attending Retail X, then they can kind of check out your boat cruise that you guys are doing. That's so cool.
And here's the truth: if you're an Amazon seller, we can get you on this boat for free. So with pizza and drinks. So.
Yes, awesome.
And if not this event, hopefully we'll have many more in the future.
Definitely. Well, the next boat I'm getting on is the online seller cruise in February with Carlos and the Wizards of Amazon.
Oh, you're doing that?
Yeah, so much fun. So I hope you guys can join us on the cruise, and maybe you'll see Scott before then at Retail X on his boat event that's happening. Well, Scott, thank you so much. I put all of your contact info. I put your Instagram handle in the chat so that people can reach out to you, and we'll also put it in the show notes afterwards. We turn all of our tools in our tool reviews into blog posts on our website as well. So thank you guys so much for being here and for checking out this cool tool review we did today. Scott, I can't thank you enough for being here and for sharing your awesome tool with us. We got to do this again.
All right. Yeah, no, for sure, Amy. Thank you. Yeah, it's nice to catch up, and I'm sure we'll have another chance to do it.
Definitely. All right, you guys, well, have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you guys on Wednesday. We have really great content, and tomorrow on the Seller Roundtable. Don't miss that, 3 p.m. Central Time. We've got Seller Roundtable tomorrow, so check that out, and we'll see you guys at the next thing. All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Scott.